Oh, they're ripe. My mom, Alice, came from Lebanon, where her mother taught her to cook, and her mother before her. So it's a tradition of recipes that have gone on, passed on from mother to daughter for many generations. I'm going to pick one of the Lebanese squash that's ripe for the dish. In the old country, everybody had a little kitchen garden. Well, this is a little bigger than a kitchen garden. Come on, I was going to show you the other fig tree. But again, it's a different variety. My mom and grandmother came to America in 1926, and my mom was 16 at the time, and she didn't know how to cook as a young girl, but when she got married at the age of 24, she learned the recipes from her mother, who came to live with her for a while. There were 5 kids in my family, and we had Lebanese food every day. There's a lot of handwork in the food, and so I wanted to participate, and eventually, after I begged them enough, they let me join them, and I loved doing it. And then when I moved away from home, I said, I'd call my mom and say, how do you make this? And she would tell me, and I would write it down. So over the years, I had accumulated these recipes that I had written down, which were based on the oral tradition. So one of the tricky things in doing this was my mom would say, add enough salt. So when I was taking these recipes that say add enough salt, I was having to convert it into measurements. The cookbook is a labor of love. So this is my mom and dad, and that's my mom and dad. And I put their recipes next to each other. Alice's salad and my dad's salad. Over about 20 years I worked on this book. I have to tell you what my mother used to say about cooking, and it's the mantra, and it's on every other page of the cookbook, and it is, if you make it with love, it will be delicious. Lebanese food is popular all over the world. A lot of the ingredients that we use are very typical to a kitchen. You know, salt, pepper, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, cinnamon, allspice, garlic. It's interesting, a lot of people think they've never had Lebanese food, but then I say, have you ever had hummus? And they say, oh yeah. I say, well, that's Lebanese. Have you had tabbouleh? That's Lebanese. Have you had falafel? That's Lebanese. So people often are more familiar with it than they think. My mom used to say that her garden is her therapy, and also her artwork is her therapy. And I think that's true for me too. Cooking is also that way. I mean, when I'm stressed or procrastinating on something, I go cook something. I think she's very happy and proud to have the love of the food and tradition shared. And she was a great cook. I mean, people, not just us, but everybody in LA thought she and my grandmother were wonderful cooks. No bias.